Hi, Yukiko. My Carrie and I purse business sales doubled and reached a six-figure business.
Congratulations! How many years in business now, Maya?
Thank you, Yukiko. It's been a roller coaster journey. It was tough. Jobs were scarce, and everyone was tightening their belts. But I had this passion for design, and I knew I had to try. I had used most of my savings to live on, so getting a traditional business loan was impossible. I was a first-time business owner and had no collateral. There was no choice. I started my Carrie NY business shortly after the 2008 recession. It's been 3 years.
You must work so hard to build a six-figure business in 3 years.
It felt like I was finally achieving my dream. I was so thrilled. However, while the sales were coming in, the exhaustion was mounting, and my credit card debt continued to grow, tens of thousands of dollars, and it's growing every month. Why am I missing payments and getting calls from the credit card companies? Am I doing something wrong?
Oh wow, that's a lot of credit card debt. Mounting. Are you using your personal credit cards for all your raw material purchases? I was wondering how much you invested in your startup cost and working capital when you started. So, how did you finance your startup costs?
Remember, Yukiko? I was laid off during the Great Recession. I was jobless for 7 months with my savings. It was not easy to get business loans or credit cards, so I got a $7,000 personal bank loan and 4 credit cards. I used them for startup costs and working capital for my Carrie NY purse brand. I maxed out a few cards to buy inventory and raw materials. It was a gamble, but I felt like I had no choice. It seemed like the only option at the time.
That's a very common scenario for many aspiring entrepreneurs. I've done that too. What were your initial thoughts about using credit cards?
Honestly, I was just focused on getting started. I knew the interest rates were a little high, but I thought, once I start selling, I'll pay it off quickly. But somehow I was very wrong, but I don't know why.
Don't blame yourself, Maya. You said there were no other options at the time. You are doing an amazing job to grow your Carrie NY purse brand into six-figure income. You must be proud of yourself. You said you started to miss the payments and got a correction call. Can I ask you more details about the issues?
Well, the interest started piling up faster than I expected, and because I needed to buy more inventory to keep up with demand, I kept adding to the debt. It was a vicious cycle. It's been 3 months since I missed my payments for Visa and MasterCards. Only the Amex cards are still active because those cards do not carry balances.
Thank you for sharing. So your cash flow is not good? Monthly revenue won't cover all your expenses, correct?
Yukiko, you are right. My business cash flow is not great at all. I wake up at night and worry about my financial situation sometimes. But trying to be positive and the way to get out of this credit card debt. Can you explain to me what I did wrong and help me find a solution to get out of this mess?
Oh, Maya, you are having a rough time. But the great thing is you came to me asking for help, wanting to understand why, and seeking solutions. You are a very brave business owner with a growth mindset. I will try my best to help you find some solutions and turn Carrie NY into a profitable business. If you don't mind, can I have your last 12 months income statement and current balance sheet?
Sure, although I don't fully understand how to read the balance sheet, I can email it to you from my bookkeeping software.
Maya's average cost of goods sold, COGS, was 39.88%. Let's round that to 40% for simplicity, in the last 12 months. This means for every dollar of revenue, 40 cents goes towards the direct costs of producing her purses. This leaves her with a gross margin of 60%. Her business's average fixed costs, including studio rent and website hosting, were $9,975 per month. On top of that, she needs $4,000 per month to cover her personal living expenses. Therefore, her total fixed expenses are $13,975 per month. To calculate her break-even point, we divide her total fixed costs by her gross margin. $13,975 divided by 0.6 equals $23,292. This means Carrie NY needs to generate $23,292 in monthly revenue. or $279,504 annually, just to cover all her costs. Carrie NY's annual revenue was $167,017. The income statement shows a negative net income of $18,749 before taking Maya's living expenses into account. The cash flow statement, which shows how cash moves in and out of the business, reveals an average monthly cash balance of only $759. Maya must be using her personal credit cards for her living expenses as well. Although Carrie NY reached a six-figure revenue business, her revenue is insufficient to reach the break-even point. She doesn't have enough cash to cover her living expenses, making it impossible to pay the monthly interest on her credit cards, let alone the principal. This is why she's missing payments and getting calls from the credit card companies. Furthermore, her startup costs and working capital were funded by credit cards. With no cash reserves to cover her short-term liabilities or emergencies, and with the added burden of high interest payments, she has no safety net. Any unexpected expense or a dip in sales will push her further into debt. Basically, Maya's high-interest credit card debt is creating a vicious cycle. The interest is eating into her already tight cash flow, making it impossible to pay the debt down, and the lack of cash reserves creates a very dangerous situation. It's like bleeding really badly, so we need to stop the leak as soon as possible.
Oh no, is Carrie NY bleeding badly? I wish I had understood how the credit card interest burden creates a dangerous cash flow problem using working capital, a known real gross profit margin number, and a break-even point calculation. I thought Carrie NY's gross profit margin was 70% or more. I was so focused on the sales numbers only. If the gross margin is 60%, it would be better to buy at a wholesale price and resell them. What should I do now?
You are not the only company. 80% of small businesses have unhealthy cash flow, unfortunately. And yes, Maya, this is a critical situation, but it's not hopeless. Many businesses have turned things around from similar circumstances. We need to act quickly, but we will get through this. It's understandable to feel panicked, especially when you're facing sleepless nights. When I was in a similar situation, I felt depressed, didn't want to look at the financial numbers. I didn't update any bookkeeping information for 6 months until the accountant asked. And I felt so ashamed that my business was in deep cash flow problems because I was known as a good organizer and money management person. But remember, you've taken a crucial step by seeking help and wanting to understand the problem. That's the first step towards finding solutions. We will absolutely dive deep into your COGS, and we will find ways to improve your gross profit margin. But before we do that, we need to focus on urgent care. We need to stop the bleeding, as we talked about before. For this week, your homework is to contact each of your credit card companies. Explain your situation and ask if they are willing to lower your interest rates or create a payment plan. Just make the calls. We'll discuss the results next session and we'll begin implementing our step-by-step plan to cut costs. Remember, you're not alone in this, and we'll work together to get Carrie NY back on track. Now go make those calls.
Thank you so much, Yukiko. You don't know how much it means to me. I will definitely call all my credit card companies right away, and I will report how it goes next week.
Maya has a crucial task this week, to start negotiating with her credit card companies. We will meet with Maya next week and hear the results of her calls. We will also dive into solution number 1, how to cut costs. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.